It is often difficult for people to connect crowded cities with the quiet nature. But where we are about to go is an exception. My name is Dongjing, and welcome to the financial center of Europe, Frankfurt am Main, Germany. Here you can not only taste the fragrance of flowers from all over the world in Germany's largest botanical garden, you can also visit the Senckenberg Museum, one of the most influential natural history societies. Feel the vicissitudes of nature in the museum headquarters. But compared to fossils and plants, the animals living in this city are more perfect for telling you their natural stories. Welcome to the Wonderland of Creatures Frankfurt Zoo series, and I will take you there. Explore the wonderland of creatures at this century-old zoo. In the next 10 long videos, I will take you to visit old friends and get to know each other. New faces, and from underwater world to vast skies, director of Born from the Sun. Their lives are more exciting than you imagine. And I will show you all this one by one in the next series of videos. Now please bring your curiosity, and we will set off immediately, everyone. Happy New Year. I am Dongjing. In the last episode, we boarded this ancient. On the second floor of the building, we met the Thorn Group exhibition area. The giant yellow-tailed dragon is roaming the wilderness and deserts of North America again. Understand the relationship between two chess rankings and ultraviolet rays. What is unforgettable are the old pine cones from the Australian wilderness, and the unjust oil who misses his retirement meal. The curves here can't even fit in a road rental box. Those geckos running around the place also have their own stories to tell you. If you don't know these wonderful holy spirits who share this earth with us, then please be sure to click on the portal below to view the content of the previous episode first. If you remember the wonderful lives of these species, follow along now. Let's learn more about more species through my lens. From the tribe of Grandmaster and Pinecone, we return to the atrium. What is it? The wizard asked this parent to stop. Let's take a look at the environment first. Use soil for the bottom layer. Spot materials cold on the surface. This humidity environment will make people feel very contradictory. But in fact, it is dry at the top and wet at the bottom. This is what many shrub areas on the edge of forests have. Features who else? It's still early. He's still sleeping in the tree. It's almost noon and the venue is brightest. When there are more tourists, I still wake up. Grandmaster Orchid Green Grass allows them to hide in the vegetation sky element. Their powerful bodies also allow them to flexibly shuttle among shrubs and green onions. This one looking at people from behind just after waking up is native to the bushes and bushes of South America. Dry forest snake. For example, the word water on the leaves indicates that water is sprayed regularly here. Because the native environment is dry without sweating and lack of water, so it will be the same here. Spray once a week or so. Look at the alkaline water. Fortunately, they don't have to worry. Hair loss is also quite legendary. They achieved it in 11 years. World's first zoo breeding record. When many people see it, they will think of the sharp snake distributed in our country. These two men with long noses not only look alike, but also have similar lifestyles. In addition to being a hunter in a tree, the recipes are also very similar. Not only can they both eat birds, reptiles, and asteroids all eat fish, their wide range of properties indicates that they not only has a wide range of activities. You can also learn and master hunting skills in multiple modes, which also reflects on the side. Their excellent visual abilities. Overall, Baron is like Jianhui's doppelganger 20,000 kilometers away. But there are a lot of differences between them. Look carefully, Jianhui's nose is slender. There are many, but his body is not as big as Baron's, and his personality is relatively reserved. It takes longer to become familiar with an unfamiliar environment, and Baron's character. Relatively cheerful and very energetic during the day in order to be able to bear it. They toss around, and the rough-skinned and thick-fleshed velvet becomes the plant of choice. The environment should also be as high and open as possible to make them excited. Did you test it in front of the glass? This seems like a stereotype, but in fact, it's more appropriate to think of this as a coming wind because on a sunny day with a pleasant temperature. When there are a lot of tourists, Baron will run out after completely waking up. Picking up guests, although this is also elegant, but for the energetic and cheerful. For a small house, it will become boring if you live there for a long time. So tourists become a source of novelty for these people, who have good eyesight. For courageous animals, don't always think that people are observing them. As long as they live comfortably, tourists are also interesting in their eyes. Products. You see, they ran to the ground to be closer to the tourists. If you encounter this situation in the future at the zoo, you might as well stop and let them take a good look at you. But their experience is also limited. As the number of tourists dwindles before sunset, they have to go back to their books and sleep. What adventures will they encounter in their dreams? The temperate forests of Argentina go all the way north. We are going now. What we visited was the tropical rainforest in Colombia, South America, which covered the entire surface of the earth. Organic matter and a variety of rainforest plants reflect the humidity here. Features. Looking at the pineapple in the distance, you must have guessed what species it is. This is the territory of golden sword frog. This is this 5-year-old male from the Aquarium Museum in Dusseldorf. Descendants, you may be thinking, am I colorblind? How can there be any yellow in this? In fact, there are many regional color types of sword frogs, except for the typical golden yellow. There is another more common one that is distributed in Colombia. Brea mint color in the wild due to toxicity to itself. Confident, they're not very good at hiding their tracks, but now he. Standing so obvious, you really have ulterior motives. Pay attention, it's coming. That way, if this is your first time attending a sword poison frog's courtship song. Then please barrage him for a big test. Although it looks like Cho Ming, the volume is really not small. Then how do their little bodies make such a loud noise? We slowed down 8 times and looked carefully at his waist and abdomen. Just like singers, their vocals are breathless and rely on their waist and abdomen. Use force to squeeze the air from the lungs and push the sound into the mouth and then through the vocal sac. Increase the volume. It's the balloon at the bottom. It's equivalent to their stereo. After inserting it in one breath, you have to inhale it again. Prepare for the next song. Why is he the Lord here? Because his roommates are really too introverted. In fact, there is a mysterious elf here, but until I put the entire zoo. After the shooting, I never saw him come out, but I found the right one. On a rainy afternoon, I decided to try my luck again, because I was against him. I understand that if this weather doesn't come out, it will be really bad. Look at the rain. In fact, there are not many heavy rains in France in a year. Then look here again. Why do I say this tube is very old? It's because it's really quite old. I can't believe it. There's still water leaking somewhere. Oh, it's natural, right? It used to be okay when it rained lightly, but today it rained really hard. However, it is precisely because of this heavy rain that are current issues. The first star species. It is the sacred and beautiful emerald tree man from the Yulan of South America. Maybe when you first see it, you will think it is very similar to a green tree python. They are indeed driven evolution across the ocean, but how to distinguish them? You can look at the following details, such as the patterns on the body and the green trees. The white spots are all lumpy. The white lines on Jade's body are all horizontal. This one is indeed not very typical, but it can also be seen as a small horizontal line. If their business association turns its head, it will be easier because they. The biggest difference is in the head. The hot spots on Jade's upper lip are more and more obvious. At first glance, there is a row of holes. The scales near the nose are also larger, and the hot spots on the upper and lower lips of the green tree are. There are obviously not that many, and the scales near the nose are also smaller. Also, it takes a lot of luck to see a little difference. There are no 3 consecutive ones yet. It's time to take action. Yes, it's their amazingly long teeth. Let's see who follows. Now, we can watch it again. How about my luck as an audience? Okay, after so many times, it showed up just this time, and I met you just this time. It yawned. The reason why these teeth are so long is the same as those of tree rats, such as the thick bell network mentioned in the previous episode. Jade is also meant to penetrate the fur of birds and small bruns. The long teeth that have just been cultivated are longer than those of green trees. Let's talk about this time. We met. Why doesn't it show up usually? But it happened on a rainy day. Come out. This is about the climate of the original place. You must know that although emerald tree dark lives in the South American rainforest, it is not as hot as in the desert. Less than 29 during the day and only 23 at night. They're permanent microscopic mirror. It's even been below 25 degrees for a long time, and it's just autumn here and the heating hasn't been turned on yet. Coupled with the rain and cooling, the temperature that day was around 24, which was exactly their comfort range, and the most important thing is this heavy rain. Although, this rain did not pass into the road box, but the cooling light caused by the rain and air pressure changes. Maybe it gave them the illusion that it was raining. It's also weird now. Why is there no water even though it's raining? There's nothing we can do about it here. This rainforest blooms in the morning and evening. It still has to wait until the night before it can get wet, so it can be seen that day. You have your own requirements for activity time. Tourists like bright and warm environment, but it is not to their taste. So they can only wait until the cool nights and then go out to play during the day. Most of them avoid drinking in the depths and have lived here for several years, but he and we are all unfamiliar with each other, and I am not very impressed when I see tourists coming to Disney. I just want to leave.
After 1 or 2 steps, I retreated when I saw someone coming.
Therefore, for this kind of shy species, it is wrong to rely on naked eye observation.
Monitoring is necessary to better understand their needs.
The hottest ocean climate impacts America's rainforests aren't just limited to South America. Continuing further north, the rainforests of Central America are also as seen for stronger light. The highest plant density in the whole place. The epiphytic pineapples are greedily absorbing it. The lighting can be seen from the configuration of this lamp. It is better than
Fabian next door.
What jumped over? Let's take a closer look. What jumped over just now? It's the green camouflage poison sword frog native to the rainforests of Central America. It's breakfast time for them now, and they're inspecting the cracks in the bark for bugs. Their current state is actually very consistent with their native behavior. In fact, in the tropical rainforest, there are thick giant trees and huge slabs. The rotten deadwood forms a large three-dimensional space, and the sword poison frogs will. Traveling through the skeleton of these forests, the sword poison frogs are again in Germany. It is called a tree climber, and because the camouflage has a metallic luster in the sun.
So it won the title of Golden Tree Climber.
Indeed, this luster combined with the room-like patterns is no wonder that there are countless. People are obsessed with camouflage sword poisons, and there are many colors because it is widely distributed and has evolved into dozens of colors, but blue camouflage and green camouflage. They are just the most typical among them. Their wide distribution allows them to span across 2 climate types, which also have a certain impact on their behavior. The camouflage on the left Pacific side is controlled by tropical winds every year. Everyone has to go through a quarter of dry season. In the absence of shelter, plants wither. Season they develop a more cautious character. The Caribbean Sea on the right is completely covered by tropical rainforest. The vegetation is lush all year round and you can find shelter at any time, so it becomes be bolder. As long as the temperature is right, you will run out of 60,000. Therefore, most of the common camouflage patterns come from the east coast of Central America. What inspiration does this behavioral specialization have for Guanyang?
That must mean that the coverings must be layered and not too sparse. You see? This environment has branches and trunks that are completely exposed to the light, as well as a large area covered with pineapples. This environmental structure can greatly improve their sense of security. Once they are familiar with the environment, you can see them running as fast as they can on the branches that are 1.4 meters high. They can also be seen heading north along the smooth wall. In fact, this characteristic can be seen in many Guanyang climbers. For shy species, the high level of sexual desire in the initial environment will make them easier to adapt and wait for them to develop trust in the environment and the 4 races. Naturally, more behaviors will be displayed. Here you can even see, in their small society, if the environmental conditions are sufficient, they will respect the territorial boundaries of different individuals and rarely fight. Finally, review it again, whether it was gold just now or camouflage now. There are other sword poisons in the future as long as they are born in a captive environment. They're all non-toxic, because their poison is converted from food in the wild captive shrimps eat. If it's less than that, it's naturally non-toxic. Otherwise, how could it be used to feed other people? As for species, for example, this one from Copper Residence is native to northern Central America. A jagged head chase in the rainforest. They occupy the top level of the entire environment. Come and bask in the light. I only come down when you are eating. Like the secret treasure building, they can also reproduce naturally here. On the back of the branches, if you look carefully, you can also find something. The little lizard is a hidden species here. This is not something you can see every time you come here. This is the big-headed and Lexi native to the jungles of Haiti. This little guy who looks inconspicuous at first glance also has his own characteristics, such as the top of the star's head. It feels like I was hit in the barrage. I finished watching 3 Americas. Warzone, under the tree next door to them. We're heading to another continent. Come, the test center is here. Look at the gravel floor with small trees and this plate of layers. Sandstone background wall, which origin species, now the barrage is running. Everyone has seen me. Who is living here?
He stood on the treetops and stared at us. In fact, in the early stages of filming, they didn't move in. After they moved in, they stayed on the nearly 3-meter high tree. When there are tourists during the day, it doesn't rain at all, and it's hard to see clearly, so I can only try my luck at night. Mentioning that they could come down and hang out, I watched him come down to swim before the museum closed one day about half a year later.
Oops, I came ashore when I saw you.
It was like not turning on the light in the middle of the night after going to the toilet, as if he was afraid of something.
Just like him, but when he reaches the back wall, he feels safe.
The pace is much smoother. This little lizard who has just been released from prison is the world. One of the rarest monitor lizards. Mitchell's monitor lizard. Why does this monitor look so small? That's right. As a member of the giant lizard Yeshu, the adult body is only about 60 centimeters. Like this one, which is only 1.5 years old and only half a meter long, these little monitor lizards are trying to avoid. Large natural enemies on the ground are very tree-like and stay high.
It makes them feel more secure, which is why they
just like the tree. In fact, many species with arboreal behavior have this in common, such as if the master series produced by our superiors cannot be given such high boxes, put the boxes higher so that they can be on level or even.
Looking down will greatly relieve their anxiety.
Okay, I found a suitable sunbathing spot. Look at the left side of the lamp here. There is something special about it. The top of the head should be a 5 lamp with stronger radiation.
Because this environment is very hot, it can provide longer distance effective radiation. So what are their UV requirements?
Sorry, I don't know the specific requirements because I have very little experience in raising animals. But based on clusters with similar habits, it is inferred that they should also be fertilized. The demand for species with fertility is similar to that of plant artifacts. Anyway, it is high enough here. Even if it's too much, there's enough of a small area. More than half a year has passed and the spring of 2022 has arrived. Let's finally take a look at their behavior.
This one looks like it wants to come down. Their tails look like data. That way, when the lasso hooks the stem of the book, it gives me a pointer. Now, his behavior is much smarter than before. As he walks, he thinks about his next step. This is the joy of appreciating natural behavior. It's great to come down and see the sunshine.
This is when you see me. Stick out your tongue to show alertness. Did you see that you still went around to the back? Still not used to someone being so close.
What's he doing here this time? Let's take a closer look. I don't know if he's here. Drinking water.
They are really not afraid of people now. They can drink water in front of strangers. This is a sign that they are very familiar with the environment. It is reported that how do you drink water? They have 2 modes of drinking water, like put the tip of your mouth into the water shower like this. You are not very thirsty. Drink less. That's it. Although the tongue is contracted, you are not drinking with your tongue. The movement of the muscle balls at the base of the tongue and bronchi creates suction to suck water. The tongue is just connected with the hole. After drinking, raise your head and rejoin. The high bone is squeezed to allow the water to be swallowed. This is June's eyes complete drinking process. After drinking water, the sunshine is nice. Let's bask in the sun for a while. It's not easy. Let's take a look while the light on the line is good and it doesn't run away. Their details. Butter-colored heads interspersed with dark spots allow them to absorb heat more efficiently. Look at yourself again. The yellow, gray, and black dots can be a good way to introduce them into the trees. Firm but resilient skin locks and long-lasting moisture for their body. This allows them to withstand sweat in the wild and also allows them to survive in captivity. Next, insist on not coming down to drink water for 100 days, slightly raising the tail of the wolf, yes. Their right-hand man in conquering the underwater world. What you see now may be the clearest close-up of Breath of the Chamber on the internet. Okay, it looks like I've finished drinking. The next step should be to go back up there.
Let's see where he goes this time.
It was very flattering. I stopped after climbing less than 1 meter and found a bark tube to use as a beach chair. Today's daylight health session begins. As mentioned in the previous episode, even if glass can block up, natural light walls and light colors will still make them feel comfortable. So even low-profile sunlight is more attractive than high-profile lights. Not only can you lie on the column skin too, you can also get into it and use it as a tent.
These behaviors all mean that they are no longer so afraid of strangers.
From running to the book when seeing people and not daring to come down, to not being afraid of the camera and daring to observe me at close range. This process took more than a year. This animal has a very short history of domestication. You can do it without being afraid of people, let alone those who have been artificially bred for many generations. Excuse me.
If their sensitive hearts can be taken care of, they will naturally show the relaxing side. Finally, let's talk about the population issue. Why do we say they are? What about the most awesome cancer? Originally, their distribution range was very wide and coarse-grained golden glass. The research tools all have overlapping origins, but because they will pragmatically invade the sea mounts. In addition, 80% to 97% of wild populations were killed by poison. But the good news is that in 2000, 22 both here and Cologne reached Australia. The first recorded breeding in zoos outside of Europe. With overseas double insurance, what does the newly born larval millet food look like? Soon I will take you to the Cologne Zoo to see it. After watching it, it is rare. Let's take a look at its fellow rice-style crabs. They live right across from it. It's an equally tall environment. The middle and upper floors are relatively open. There is an artificial stream in the rear left. Explain this. The species is also close to water sources, near the rock wall streams in its place of origin. This is the territory of the evening frog rat, just like the pond in our fields. That way multiple species will gather near water sources or in surrounding trees. Either come to attend a folks meeting or a buffet dinner. What you can usually see in zoos is usually the latter. Look at this young giant ice frog, staring intently at its prey. I felt that the attack was of no use if I hadn't fed them. Most of the time I stay in the trees during the day. It might be basking in the sun like the one above, or it might be hiding in the bushes. Once the crickets are gone, they become active. We can also catch a glimpse of them flying in the air. They will first lock the target with their eyes, and then use their powerful hind legs to eject yourself. Long legs and feet can also provide cushioning for landing. Of course, not every hunt is successful, so they have to be economical. Energy, attack with caution. They are not only hunters, but also prey. Small or young rain ice frogs often become crawling frogs such as rice-wet crabs. Prey. That's why sometimes they jump up and swim. Maybe they were attracted by the tree frogs on the opposite side, and they roam near the riverbank. Not only are there tree frogs, but this is the old resident here. It is here that he has lived for more than 10 years. The Winter Olympic Snake King returns at noon. They also come ashore to bask in the air when the air is thoroughly heated. Many people don't. What I know is that they are actually species from Proxen Zone 3. Rest. When basking in the sun, they need ultraviolet intensity lamp. Lithocene is similar, although it can not only replenish the cover, but also help kill them. The fungus on their carapace also makes them feel better, so it's not. All deep water turtles do not require UV light. If the environment itself makes it uncomfortable and the light is insufficient, then of course, it's easy to get carried away, but you still have to be careful even if there's sunlight. After cooling down and absorbing enough heat, they will dive into the water. After all, it is underwater. That's their home ground. Excellent underwater vision and bumps on the skin give them a full range of the perception ability, coupled with the iconic long neck, allows them to catapult like a snake to hunt. Greatly increases the attack range. Their feet are also water resistant. It cannot be used for swimming, but its claws can go ashore for long distances in hot and dry seasons. Migration can also be done by digging a pit more than half a meter deep during the breeding season. Of course, they won't be exposed to so many difficulties in captivity. But absolute safety often means boredom, so just wait and see tourists. I picked up their new hobby and sometimes sneak over to watch the tourists. There are also the skulking giants roaming around here. This is the first time I have met him in 21 years. This is his territory. Was discovered. In fact, they have a very wide perspective, and saw me coming a long time ago. This time I look back and wonder why you haven't left yet. You don't believe us? Test it and take a closer look. When you get closer, they will become alert, and then relax again because they trust tourists very much. You see, if I get closer, I will look back right away. In fact, this is a very good state. It proves that they have no memory of being harmed by humans. People can do whatever they want around them. Only changes in distance will cause alarm. Because here, the biggest enemies are actually the same kind of people. So he has a white regeneration tail. The regeneration ability of human fishermen is very strong. You see, this is a year later. If you look at its tail, it is already green and does not look like it is regenerated. Come and test the UI. I have never seen a tester before. I thought I was looking for it with a brick. It's almost the coolest place in the whole place. You see the UI is also 0, 1, right and left. Okay, I finished looking at 2 Australian waterside species. Let's come back. Take a look at the typical habitats in Australia. Turn around and go back to the atrium. This is also the case here. Familiar species, red sandstone, dry and peeling branches, but there are also trees and shrubs. These are miniature Australian tropical western trees. Grassland landscape, and the protagonist here is Sanchi, who has the same style of Shaolin. This is a very strong male star, and he looks quite young. This red body tells us that it has the blood of Northern Australia. The Sanchi breeding room here is also very long. This was the case for Sanchi, the first person to arrive in Europe alive in 1907. Because they are very distinctive and easier to observe and familiar with the environment. The Sanchi is one of the easiest animals to see here, as long as it's daytime. You can see it basking in the sun when you come over, so it is my favorite too. The mottled doesn't have to worry about what time it will come out. The same is true in the wild. The mottled and rough skin blends well with the tree trunks. So Umbrella 11 is also a species that relies heavily on woodland. Look at his look when you come back. It seems that there is no end to complaining, right? When the weather is hot, they will open your mouth to dissipate heat in the sun. You can clearly see his upper and lower fangs. This is them. A useful weapon, but I've always been a little weird. Then the Grandmaster. Even more strange, Umbrella 11, why does she stay in such a short place every day? I didn't pay much attention to this problem at first. I thought it would be worse if I came back in autumn or winter. Let's see. But I didn't expect that this separation would be forever. It would be soon. On October 4, 21, he was gone. The environment is also trouble. In the spring of the next year, a new owner came to live here. It turned out that he had passed away. It was then that I realized that as he entered his twilight years, he could no longer climb as high as a younger individual. If you want to appreciate the vitality of the umbrella, you can only rely on the next generation of senders. In order to allow them to better show their style in the future, in their larvae. At this stage, we need to take more care of their sense of security, just like the American cancer. That would not only provide more shelter, but also a high enough place. Let them look down at all living things and see that they still like to hide behind tree trunks. I don't want to face tourists directly. In fact, umbrellas are very timid. Their heads are. The wide folds on both sides are cloaks used to warn opponents when they encounter. When in danger, they will use specialized cartilage to prop it up to relax. Hence the name. Although this behavior looks exciting, it is also exciting for them. So it's best not to make them afraid. I hope that after a year and a half of hard work in the future, they can be like me, sure. Like a superstar, newbie tourists. After watching the wilderness of Australia, let's continue to go north and see the species in Eurasia. Just look at the environment and feel. It's sweatier here than next door. Indeed, their native mirrors are like grass and the ground is dwarfed by shrubs. This kind of desolate land is the lava desert of the Middle East. To give them. Simulating the scorching sun at noon. There is a hot road specially created for them. In the center of the stage is the star here. Mu is flying lizard, but this is not the first time we have seen this species, but it is not. It feels different from the previous one, yes. Mu's fly lizards themselves are widely distributed, ranging from the Middle East to southeastern Europe. As a result, as many as 7 subspecies have been differentiated. The one in front of you is the smallest and darkest subspecies, only about 20 centimeters long. Bamboo is always a little lizard. But it doesn't feel like it's not that dark, right, because it's a female. The male above is really black, with red and yellow markings like star chains. Light up the dark night sky. This is their Latin species name, but just looking at this subspecies, the desolation of the black lava desert of Syria is still concentrated in the body. Origin. Living in the desert of the Middle East, they are more resistant to high temperatures than the umbrellas next door. In captivity, the temperature difference between their hot and cold zones can even be as high as 20. Look, it seems that the light is now over 40 degrees. Do you understand their dance? The male is nodding his head now. Do you think the plot of the Superior Zone Shirshi is going to be staged? Looking back, there will be things you can't think of. The female goes one step further. Did you see that the one chasing and biting each other's tail is the female? The male who just nodded suddenly became passive. In a hunter-gatherer society, males are not always the dominant ones. There is such a domineering and aggressive female. Look, this young man is pretty good at this. Nodding slowly means submission. Okay, the young couple have been playing for a while. Now let's stop fighting. Look carefully, the female is pregnant now. The behavior just now may be related to hormone secretion. Okay, enough sun exposure, everyone left. Let's see why there is this stage light. This kind of concentrated golden furnace lamp has a strong local heating effect. There is a risk of burns for medium to large species. The 2 floodlights next to them are more commonly used, but for small news, this. The light cone can completely cover the whole body and can accurately determine body temperature. But such a large environment is home to more than just them. We walked forward along the hot road. Here are some more clues. See the hole in the middle of the rudder? Who left this? There is also a green area under the rock on the other side. There seems to be something there.
Little News did some research for us. The family was sleeping in the haystack. It's the Egyptian deer cabinet down there. Even if it's lunch at noon, it's still calling. No wait. Then we can only watch small news to eat. The reality of news and guru is very. Like they are all mixed fruits, they can eat insects and flowers and plants, but obviously there are. The temptation of crickets makes them less interested in the green vegetables in front of them.
Because bugs are not only delicious but also fun. Feeding lion bugs to animals can make them run and jump. The cockroaches are originally a style that allows them to enjoy hunting. Happiness can also inspire more potential in them. Watch the young man catch it. One of them ran away because he was afraid that his wife would choke. After the couple had eaten enough, they went up to play. But we can only see them two in this environment. What if? If summer comes, it will basically be their home court, unless it's early morning. Come here, you can catch up with Egypt below. Get up, drink water and eat.
If you have to see them, it's best to come here in autumn and winter when the sun shines. The duration is short and they will come out after the day is not so hot. No activities. Why? Because their place of origin is as arid and desolate as the news. But at this speed, there is no way to quickly migrate and hunt. So in the hot dry season, they can only choose to rely on the bottom to support themselves. After this period of time, they will also overheat and shut down in an oxygen environment. Once the conditions are met, they will automatically enter the following. It will be obvious in October. Normal activities will occur after cooling down. Also note that the electrical materials here are not the kind of soft sand, but have. The hardness is also very consistent with the real-life surface. Because not all arid environments are filled with sand. Compacted surfaces mixed with sand and soil are also common, but here, the breeder made one mistake. The nails on this one's hind toes are too long. Repair. This needs to be paid attention to in volume oxygen because you don't have to hike as far as hiking in the wild, so your nails wear out very slowly. If the toes are too long for a long time, they may become bent, but it may also be because the color of their legs was too close to the electrical material. I also took a closer look later. Just discovered it.
What woke them up today was a vegetable feast, because they just came out from below. Recovery, so you need to add more fluids, so there are some common vegetables. After a while, they will be like other Wanwa deer bones. Mainly flowers and plants with low blood content, otherwise we would eat these from humans for a long time. Vegetables can cause diarrhea. It's like feeding a rabbit.
The configuration of weightless is very representative. If you enlarge this pen, it can actually be applied to many species. There is a rhino hunting scene next to it. The whole venue is 22 square meters and 3 meters high. Skylight only provides light, 2 artificial sunspots.
This is the home of this 14-year-old rhino. The rhino feed room.
It's also very long. It started as early as 1905. But the concept and environment at that time were not suitable, like this one now. The environment used to be divided into 3 equal parts until 1987. It was just opened and renovated to become what it is now. But the effect is also very obvious because it reproduced successfully in the second year. Will it be effective if the environment is changed?
Then we can analyze the reasons. In fact, from a modern perspective, the
environment is not too harsh for rhinos. But the advantage here is that the very limited area is used efficiently. 3-dimensional space creates a large number of tunnels and slopes. Aren't rhinos Earth-like? Do they need these structures? In fact, the original tail coefficient where the rhinoceros is located is also called the rock series coefficient. The answer is obvious when there is such a rock character, the origin of rhinoceros.
Hispaniola is called the mountainous land by the local indigenous people.
The complex terrain structure also creates diverse climates. The overall climate is probably.
Most of our rhinos are found in the southern tropics.
In dry forests, supplies are scarce in arid environments, so rhinos. He is very territorial, like he is checking his own territory right now. Maybe the breeder walked by and left some smell behind. You see, a sufficiently diverse environment can bring them long-term effects. It's fresh. He has lived here for more than 10 years and he will be like just now. It's the same as the checking room. I keep exploring the environment with my tongue. This is the daily exploratory behavior of rhinos hunting for information. Their exuberant experience. Junyan will not disappear for a few generations. I still remember seeing you at Lan now before. Are you older than those two? They are much older than him. They are also very energetic during the day.
This is what a healthy rhinoceros will look like.
How do you check the status? I want you to check it. They have to walk like this, with their belly bones and the base of their tail completely raised.
It's necessary to do some running and jumping without being vague at all. Don't forget it. Sometimes, the upper body can also be lifted powerfully. And then look at the figure end. Thigh muscles are well proportioned and not fat. Stay in shape. In addition to the environment being big enough, diet is also very important. Let's take a look at the recipes. Then choose purple red oranges to eat because they contain natural urine. Under the light, this purple red color will look even more attractive. So for these vegetarians, don't just focus on vegetables. We humans. The vegetables have been cultivated with so many colors, which is also useful for them. After all, the flowers and plants they eat in the wild are also of different colors. But for nutritional balance, these colorful foods should be less than 30%. You see, most of the green leaves here are after dinner. I just came here to have a few bites. After eating, I just rested on the spot. The ground surface will also be heated during the day, so they can bask in the sun as they please. If you've had enough sun exposure in one place, you can also change locations. It has this tree trunk in the box now. It thinks it is better to bask in the sun here. Why do they always run after the sun? It looks like they are following Bebe. It's like watching TV. Watching tourists here is because there are many people under the sun. The lighting conditions are too different from their actual needs. This can be roughly seen from the habitat parameters. For example, Hispaniola has a very low latitude, with average daylight throughout the year. The market lasts about 12 hours, and the regional market also lasts 6 hours. At a latitude like Germany, winter and summer vary greatly. Days are longer in summer than in the country of origin, but only half as long in winter. But the place of origin is not only bright, but also sunny. The UV index changes every year. 9 months are above 10 and Germany is the sunniest place in midsummer. The ultimate is barely 8 to 10. These differences are not even close. A lamp of about 100 watts can solve the problem. Therefore, it is necessary to give them oral doses regularly according to the needs of the species and their age, so that these animals that cannot enjoy enough ultraviolet light can maintain sufficient ossification and pure concentration in the blood. This location has sunshine and can see tourists. It will come to such a narrow wall for these two reasons. Finally, we return to the name. Rhino hunts. Why is it called a rhinoceros? Have you seen the protruding feet on its head? What are they for? Possibly as a tool of resistance in male struggles. In order not to be bullied, females also look like males. This is what everyone does. Large mixing space, high UV demand, long growing season. Only in an environment with sufficient conditions can they fully display their talents. Style, and zoos are those that cannot go to the place of origin, where the masses come to truly know them. I believe that in the future, zoos are all aware of this responsibility, otherwise for many people, if I want to get to know them, I can only buy one and play with it. But rhino hunting is not a bedroom pet, and now he's here. Let's take a temperature here. It's just morning and the sun has just risen. The temperature on the platform is 27 degrees. It will definitely be a degree or two higher inside. Wait until the afternoon. When the temperature rises, it is so hot that it hides inside because of this. There is a heater in the wall. It's 34 degrees. If you look at the ground nearby, it's 27 degrees. This is because this area has relatively high basic temperature requirements. Turn on the heating in each box, and the temperature in this area will rise. Look, just hide it below. It's more economical to plan this way. Then go back to the higher level. Submarines, those that require large temperature differences, are a little lower. You see, the outside of the polyhuin glass is 23 degrees, and the inside should be about 25 degrees. Let's look at the lowest temperature nearby. It's only 18 degrees. Look, the lake is in pretty good condition, right? Because they know where it is hot, they can choose a place by themselves. If they want to keep warm, they can just turn a corner and go to a place with 30 degrees. Both parties require a temperature difference, but the needs are different and the temperature difference range is different. The higher the stock market temperature, the better. Overheating is also a strong source of stress and has no less impact than low temperature. Okay, let's go back to the tropical arid areas. Next we'll go to Africa. This environment is often ignored because it is not conspicuous enough in terms of brightness. There are fewer lights than others, indicating the species inside and their lighting requirements. The overall Buddhist environment is relatively dry. There are trees on the gravel surface. The year before last, there is also a large pool with a rock well. What is the operation? Fiery red scales. Sleek and slender body. This is a red-spitting cobra native to East Africa. What's the color of this snake? Why are they so festive in East Africa, Tanzania and Kenya? The iron oxide content in the soil is high, and the land is red, so in order to be able to disguise themselves in this context, the populations over there are all. It's this dark red color. Although the area is covered with grasslands and semi-deserts, the red spray likes to live in humidity area activities. That's why there is such a big pool here. The level is large enough that it can sometimes be used as a toilet. The white one is for snakes. Uric acid. Let's start talking about snake acid. Explain its other characteristics. I really didn't take pictures. Why? Because they are too calm. Every time I come here. At that time, it either didn't come out, or it came out and didn't move until closing time. I've been driving it for almost 2 years, but I can't see it moving. I made a note of it. Let me show you the several shooting processes. Look at this October tund, show your face as it's about to close. Today is the day of filming. Not yet. It's 5:30 p.m. on October 10th. I just took the photo outside. After that, come here to try your luck. He's not here anymore. September 28th is coming soon. It was about to close, but he went back early. Sometimes I'm lucky and can watch. They come out a little more, but more often than not they come out just a little bit. Sometimes the two of them go out together for a little bit until one day. There were very few people in the venue, and he was lying down in a particularly good spot. I thought there was something interesting today, but unfortunately, I didn't get all the equipment, so I struggled for a long time. It's better to run back quickly to get the equipment. Although the storage room here is not far away, with my luck, people might just turn around and go back. Look at the stairs that I walked for 3 months before. Now we can do it in 3 seconds. That's great. He hasn't left yet. He quickly found a seat that wouldn't delay tourists. Whether it works or not depends on today. I can't walk around. I can only squat in the corner next to me to block him from moving before I rush forward. It's 2:43 here. It's 3:30 and no one has moved yet. You said you are so inactive, do you still need to use a large environment? Many crawling activity times do not coincide with people. The zoo has. It only takes 8 hours from opening to closing. There are still 16 hours to go. Listen. And for many nocturnal species, daytime is not their home at all. Just go out and watch the tourists and bask in the sun. The believer also told me that they mainly carry out activities after the church is closed. During the day, I just watch TV, and the only person who can witness all this is the night market surveillance camera. Because their truth doesn't necessarily need to be told face to face. Check to see if it's moving. It's so good that it makes me sweat. I can finally take advantage of the Chinese New Year to show you what's going on with this big red snake. Come and get this New Year's red rhyme. In addition to this happiness, there is also a species of big red snake that is believed to bring good luck in its place of origin. Live next door. Third class combination plus complicated branches. It can be seen that this species has a wide distribution and diverse needs, and the animals here. I'll spend a long time in the tree. You can't believe it. We have ball pythons here. Ball pythons and other pythons were found in Benin, West Africa, where they originated more than 200 years ago. He is considered by many tribes to be the god of wind harvest, fertility, and water steward. Dragon King these tribes will build a temple to worship them and also train them. People learn dances and songs dedicated to the snake god. If someone kills snakes, even if it is an accident, those who kill snakes will be tortured. Let them feel the despair of the python before it dies. But times have changed and the old gods have fallen. Our snake god did indeed run away from the previous owner's house and was found wandering around when he was lost. This column lasted for 10 years, but he managed to get it right and enjoyed the treatment of God. What kind of magical method? Because the venue here is large and there are many popular people, let him do it. Show off your magical powers to your heart's content. For example, he often climbs into the light. The best place to hang out for a day is the same as the traditional night walk mentioned by the superior. In the wild with so many natural predators, ball pythons have to protect themselves. Just because they spend a lot of time in caves doesn't mean they just want to stay. Hey, for example, a tired ball python will be in a section with rich furniture. Exhibit a very diverse range of behaviors, based on the latest behavioral research. Shows that if the right UV rays are provided, ball cats will go there every day. After sunbathing, do some stretching exercises, then change a place to sleep, etc. Come out again in the evening, morning and night. Together, the average is more than 2 hours. This is why the ball cat also became Fuxeni. Most of the balls that are familiar with the environment will show bolder behavior than those in the wild. Behavior. There have been quite a few secondary owners saying that the mature ball cats are far better than. Their imaginations are active, so for public display opportunities. Don't just keep ball pythons in a farm. There are many stories about them. These stories need to be told to them. The platform does not fit the ball python in the field. It is not an exception. It has been in the past century. Research brings us closer to understanding snakes. Various experiments have shown that before the popularity of drawer shelves in the last century. At that time, the mainstream approach at that time was to adopt a method of animal husbandry, which was more in line with animals. In the men? Yes, the development of logology also conforms to the general law of spiral upward. Ideas that only became popular in the late 1990s may be consistent with the needs of the times, but not necessarily scientific. These things about reptiles. New progress in behavioral research. I will gradually translate the original text and post it in the column. I believe you will come and read the entire atrium. Species. Now we come to the tortoise exhibition area on the left side of the back. The superior is the ultraviolet light on the side of this tall, dense grove used to be for colorful chameleons. These vine branches are all single plank bridges for it to walk. But the chameleon, after all, they can't survive tortoises. After the last batch of them all died of old age, there won't be any here. No more raising. It's quite rare to find a road aquarium that doesn't even have a single chameleon. Now these plants have become a soundproof area for the tortoises. This is not just the tortoises and the keeper. Look what he's doing. This is for the tortoises. We installed a back brush and carried him over to let him experience it for himself.
Why are you installing this? Is it for people to play with or for turtles?
It's both.
The turtle's carapace is sentient and can feel it. Touch and friction. Some turtles like this kind of brush to rub their backs. Some turtles like this. I'm not interested. It doesn't take up much space anyway. I just put one for them. Explore. As for whether they can come to rub dates in the future, it depends on them.
Alone.
Maybe it's because the radiated tortoise's experience was that it was too exuberant.
You might be interested in these rich things, but I just tried this one.
Algae's radiant turtle seems to have his own ideas.
What keeps it going?
It turned out to be dry rice, but because I had just been dragged over to rub algae, the food was almost finished. I feel wrong, but I can't say it. But it's good to feed it frequently. Let's wait for the next meal. For the radiation people, food in artificial environments is already much more delicious than in the wild.
Because most of the plants in human society have high water content, and the staple food in the wild is mostly slow-growing but mineral-rich coarse grains. Fiber plants, so we give them whatever vegetables they want. They all ate happily, but if they don't eat more now, next,
I have to eat dried vegetables again.
like the Egyptian Lulu before, you can eat more fresh ones in summer.
You can also collect a batch of flowers and plants, and dry them in the sun until autumn and winter.
Feed them, even though the food looks really unappetizing. But this is their real staple food. Fresh vegetables can only be eaten occasionally.
Otherwise it will also cause gastrointestinal problems. Of course, their food is not always so boring. Occasionally, they can even hold a small funeral. Look, this one is riding another one, picking poisonous tiger plum leaves to eat. This tree is magnetic and poisonous. Isn't it dangerous? In fact, it is in the wild. Fushi deer turtle will go to the immortal leader for water and those poisonous ones. Come and eat the big spine. So they are inherently poisonous to these plants. Even in order to get rid of internal diseases, they specially choose poisonous things to eat, and those. The magnetism of plants is much finer than this exaggeration, but they are still. You can have a full meal without any injuries. After eating, you can still sleep in this economic complex.
If you only know about their unique skills today, please post open eyes on the public screen.
Now some people may be wondering why the saturation of the turtles here is so low. These are actually all gray. They will be different after entering school, but in the wild, being disgraced is their normal state. Because the place of origin is very dry, it is inevitable to become gray. They have also adapted to this environment, but this ability also caused them some trouble. There is a saying in the country of origin that radiation therapy can cure diseases. What's going on? The southwestern part of Madagascar is relatively dry, and dry air often. It can cause asthma attacks. But look at this turtle rolling in the dust every day. Everything is fine. Does it have anti-asthmatic effect? So there's some. The Falklands people will keep them at home to protect themselves from recovery or not sick. But the results of feeding can be imagined. Can someone who is superstitious know how to cultivate this? As a result, most of the consequences of radiation exposure to these pets are not very good. In fact, this is just a microcosm of the pet world. There are many reasons to keep insects. It's not nobler than this, nor is it to speed them through in the name of favor. No. So raising one is not the end. There is still a lot to learn in the future. But these turtles have different degrees of dragon back. What does the first form mean? There are all levels. For example, this golden turtle was sent here in 1983. His real age is far beyond 40 years old. I don't know if there are any viewers of the same age. Here is a little knowledge point. Why are some flowers full of radiation and some are darker? This may be related to the original. It is related to the light and heat climate of the production area. According to observations, the radiation from coastal areas. The diversity of flower colors is relatively high. Most of the individuals like this are yellow. They're all produced there. The areas closer to the inland areas are darker, so this can also be used. It can be seen that the radiation here does not come from the same source. As for why there are so many flies here, I will tell you in the next section. Eat. After finishing the hay, I need to drink some water. Sister, please go to the pool now.
Nearby.
The pool is dry. The keeper will come to fill it up later. He will sit down and wait. The water has come. Start drinking. Even when he drinks water, pay attention to the pool. You see, the outer edge is a little higher than the ground. This can effectively intercept sand and soil. He can't be too high, otherwise they will.
If you can't drink enough, let's talk about adult rules because during the breeding season they display the most diverse behaviors.
In the northern hemisphere, all-day battle is mostly concentrated in early summer and late autumn, especially in the summer afternoon. Why is it called a date? Because the radiants don't get straight to the point, but it takes a long time. To win the favor of females, they are not visual animals, but rely on smell and touch to determine the relationship. Males can identify a female's heart rate through her scent.
If it finds out that the other person is a ready-age girl, it won't. If you are pregnant with the baby of the farewell turtle, then it will chase it around to savor it, body fragrance, and then express love through physical contact, especially when the friction on the back armor is more likely to be transmitted to the heart, and this step may take a long time, up to a few hours. If you still remember that I talked about Yuan Xiaolube before. Courtship ritual. Compare it again. Radiants are simply too gentle.
This is because in a society with lady males, females also have the right to make decisions, especially if the female is a similar size if the female does not agree. Males are completely unable to push each other down.
This girl didn't show that much resistance, and she still won the battle. Status, but there are always some couples who make rapid progress on the other side. The drive with fire has started to burn. If you look carefully, it looks like many categories. The male's armor is also indented to fit the female's back.
The radiating back is too high. This posture is quite steep for this. It can be seen that the female's wishes are very important, because if the female does not,
if you agree, it will be easy to throw the male off.
Males don't moan while doing it like Yuan Xiao does. The whole process is relatively silent. This may be due to the fact that the sex ratio in the radiation origin is very close. At the same time, the distribution density is very high, and males do not need to rely on sound to feed them. Advertise yourself.
Everyone's relationship is very flexible. If you feel comfortable enough, you can change to the next one. Although they are in full swing now, artificial breeding of radiation is still
high frequency and low volume. The number of matings is quite high, but the hatchability rate is still not high enough for people with this problem.
in the pool opposite them.
This is how it was described in the first 1,884 book on the planet. Its shape and structure are very strange, so it will definitely be important. Because it lives almost exclusively in water, it may need to be carried. The warm and humid aroma of the spacious water basin that Fisher described is native to Attitude in the northern basin of South America. Now we know that hemp is a spring-stage species in the standard. Aquatic elephant inhabitants do not need to be protected by water as Fisher suspected. The rest of elephants and luggage can do this. Although our understanding has improved a lot since the 19th century, do we really understand them? Different from what many people think, hemp is actually a very active species in certain periods of time, included in the aquarium, as long as you come early enough or leave late enough. You can catch up with their active time, and many people think that they are almost immobile and hunter. So horses are often kept in conditions that are far below their minimum needs. Due to lack of space, they become less active. This is reinforcing this stereotype. Many people even think that the water level is high. They will all drown. But is this the case?
Some records say they lived underwater, but in the wild.
1 or 2 meters deep is also called diving. If the depth is not enough, the visibility is high. Whereas a huge horse tower with an adult body is 30-60 feet.
Therefore, too little space and insufficient water have become the primary stressors for captive horses.
The water is too deep. How can they come up for air? This is a matter of enrichment. Why is the place of origin acidic black water? Because there's no shortage of dead branches and leaves in the water. And dead wood, they can easily find reptiles. In captivity, if the walls are relatively rough or have many slopes. Just like in the wild, you can use force to come up to breathe, or you can hide down below to hold on to your treatment. You see, the water level here is over 80 centimeters. It's not easy to come up. When Mata breathes on the surface of the water, it stands in the air with its long nose like a ninja's shallow blood snorkel. At the same time, he was also shining a bright light on the young man in front of him. Why are you standing here? After such a long time underwater, we can find that Mata's neck is actually very long and covered with leaf-like ridges. This is because in black water more than 1 meter deep, vision is not as effective as touch. Then, you can feel the changes in water flow through these protrusions and thus perceive approach of prey. Okay, the 4 waters are ready to go back. Back under the water, the temperature of Mata Yama. It's not the same as people imagine. When many people hear that this is a species in the northern and southern tropical basins, they will think they live in water at 27 or 8 degrees Celsius. They talked about it a lot before. The rainforest is not that hot. The native water temperature in Mata is only 24 degrees.
For adults who can dive and hunt, the water temperature there is only 22 to 24 degrees. Now let's test it.
Look, it's also 20 degrees here.
Because water and glass are in contact, this error is smaller than those of room.
The group needs to be smaller. If I change the position, it's still 22, but now there are many.
The water temperature for breeders in summer is much higher than this temperature.
In addition, the water temperature is difficult to control due to the small water body.
These two misunderstandings prevent many Metameo from successfully surviving to adulthood.
Lucky for you, let's watch it again in slow motion and guard carefully. Even if you look at a horse, it has no teeth and almost no biting force. In ancient times, when doing so, it all depends on opening its big mouth fiercely to form a strong suction force to attract the prey. Pulling out.
Then slowly squeeze the water out of the mouth to suffocate the prey. That's it for today. The morning exercise is over. I changed my position and went to sleep again. Back to the starting topic. Is the reproduction rate of Mata very low? Aren't there many seedlings? In fact, the commercially available horse seedlings, like any yellow-headed side net, come from wild eggs are collected and hatched. Their large size and low hatchability make them. Breeding costs are still high, so mantis are still truly wild animals. I hope everyone who is interested in them will think twice before making a decision. Okay, the above is the New Year's Eve dinner prepared for everyone. If you can see this, I hope to give your support. After all, making 2 such long videos in a row is enough for me to make ends meet. I'm busier than usual, but I also want to finish talking about this as soon as possible because of there is much more to see in this place. So let's do this. If this episode can get over 10,000 likes in these few days, then I'll update the last episode of the Parlin House as soon as possible, where I'll be taking. Take a look at what the first insectarium in Germany looked like, and then share it with me. Let's talk about the feud between Australia's snow crocodile and pig-nosed turtle. He explores with you the story of the beginning of their lives. I'm Domchi. I wish everyone a happy new year. Happy family.